Welcome once again to my YouTube channel Learn with Tushar Chavan. Today we will see the first part of the oral exam which will be conducted for the students of standard 11 and 12. I am Professor Tushar Chavan from Rashtriya Junior College Chalisgaon, District Jalgaon, Maharashtra. I am also writer of activity workbook standard 11 and 12. I have also created one blog juniorcollegeteacher.blogspot.in. Students and teachers can visit this blog and get various resources for standard 11 and 12 English subject. This is one of the most resourceful blog of Maharashtra. We have to see how the oral test will be conducted in the board exam. This pattern is also applicable for the standard 11 annual oral exam. Now in this oral test, there will be two tests which are based on listening skill and speaking skill. Listening skill test has 10 marks, while speaking skill test has also 10 marks. This is as per the new evaluation pattern. It is applicable for standard 11 as well as standard 12 Maharashtra State Board exam. You will get various test papers if you visit my blog juniorcollegeteacher.blogspot.com. In this blog, you will get various resources as well as test papers for the oral exam. You will get its link in the description box. Subscribe my YouTube channel Learn with Tushar Chavan. Click on the subscribe button. You will get various videos. Oral test. First part, listening skill. Now in this test, the listening ability of the student will be tested. Now see how the test will be conducted in the board exam or annual exam of standard 11th. Time for listening test for a batch of 24 to 30 students is 25 to 30 minutes. And this test will be conducted for 24 to 30 students at one time. At the end of the test, the answer sheets will be collected and marked by the examiner. Blank answer sheets will be provided by the HSC board. Students have to write answers on that given page. Now, there will be three activities in the board exam. Listen and write the sentences. This is the first activity. Second is listen the story and write the answers. Third is listen the poem and write the answers. Out of these three, only two activities will be used for one batch of 24 to 30 students. Now it is on the examiner which activities he or she will be used in the board exam. But these are the three activities. Out of these three, only two will be used in the exam. Now activity number 1, examiner reads 5 sentences having homophones, rhyming words, tongue twisters, etc. Or sometimes the examiner will use few long sentences and ask the students to write these sentences in the answer sheet. Homophones are pair of words that sound the same but have distinctly different meanings and different spellings. See the examples of homophones. Die, die. If you accidentally drank a bottle of fabric dye, you might die. Now here, you will differentiate these two words. They are different in spelling as well as the meaning. Second, write, write. There is no right way to write a great novel. These two right have different spellings as well as different meaning. Rhyming words. Rhyming words are two or more words that have the same or similar ending sound. See the examples: goat, boat, moat, float, coat. Here the ending sound is same, so these are called rhyming words. The examiner may use such words in that sentence. Tongue twisters. A tongue twister is a sequence of words or sounds that are typically difficult to pronounce quickly and correctly. It's a funny way to practice pronunciation. Now, tongue twisters are also used in the sentences, and the examiner will ask the students to write properly. See the example of tongue twister. I saw a kitten eating chicken in the kitchen. Now, when the student listen this sentence, he should have to differentiate the exact words and write these words in a proper sequence. Actual activity number 1. Examiner reads the sentences and asks the students to write it correctly on the given page. Examiner will read the sentences loudly for 2 times. Listen the sentences carefully and write them correctly for 5 marks. Now here, the examiner will choose 5 sentences. I tell a tale of tale. Here, you will see 3 words having the same pronunciation, tale, but the spelling and meaning, these are different. So students have to write them carefully. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. She sails by the seashore. 4 fine fresh fish for you. If you notice this notice, you will notice that this notice is not worth noticing. Now, in these 5 sentences, you will find tongue twisters, homophones, as well as the rhyming words. Sometimes the examiner will choose 2 or 3 long sentences and ask the students to write them listening carefully. So it depends on the examiner what kind of sentences will he or she choose for the test. Now see the scheme of marking. Ability to focus on the word. It has 1 mark. Listening for details or retention. It has 2 marks. Accuracy of answers on understanding. It also has 2 marks. If the students write 5 sentences, the evaluation of these 5 sentences will be done seeing the overall performance of the student, and he will get the marks as 1 to 2, total 5 marks. Actual activity number 2. Examiner reads one short poem and asks the students to write answers based on the poem. It has 5 marks. Examiner will read the poem loudly for 2 times. Students will listen the poem carefully and write answers based on that poem. See the actual activity number 2. If the examiner chooses one poem for 5 marks, he will read one short poem and ask the students to write answers based on the poem. It has 5 marks. Examiner will read the poem loudly for 2 times. Students have to listen the poem carefully. What kind of questions will be there? First one is to write the gist. Second is write the figures of speech used in that poem. And third one is write the rhyming words. In figures of speech, the students have to write only the name of the figure of speech that is used in that lines. And third one is students have to write rhyming words. Means the examiner will definitely choose a poem which contains rhyming words. Rhyming words, 2 marks, figure of speech has 1 mark, and gist has 2 marks. Gist is a short summary of that poem. One example here, this is another chapter in the book. This is another race that you have planned. Don't give vanished days a backward look. Start where you stand. Now, these are the 4 lines of one poem. The examiner will read these lines 2 times, and students will listen each and every line. And after that, students will write the answers based on this poem. They have to write the gist of this poem. They have to find out the figure of speech used in this poem. And they also have to write the pair of rhyming words. See the model answers. It gives a new look to see the challenges of life, forgetting the past. This is the short summary of that 4 lines. Figures of speech, metaphor, and alliteration. These 2 figures of speech are used there. Students can write any one figure of speech here. Rhyming words, book, look, plan, stand. These are the rhyming words which are used in that poem. Actual activity number 3rd. Examiner reads one short story and asks the students to write answers based on the story. Examiner will read the story loudly for 2 times. Students have to listen the story carefully and they have to write the answers based on the story. First one is theme. Students have to write the theme of that story. It has 2 marks. Second, moral or value. Students have to write the moral of that story. And last, students have to write their opinion about the story. It has 1 mark. One example of short story. A fox who was feeling hungry saw a bunch of grapes on a vine. He tried to get the grapes. He jumped and jumped, but could not reach the bunch. So he said, the grapes are sour. Now this is the one short story. Students will listen this story carefully and they have to write the answers. See the expected answers. In the theme, students can write, it shows one aspect of nature of animals and also human beings. Moral, if we don't get anything, leave it. Opinion about the story. It is a funny and interesting story. I like it very much. In this way, students can write their own responses. This is the mark list given by the board, HSC board. In listening skill, there are 3 activities. Listen to a sentence, or listen to a short poem, or listen to a short story. Out of these 3, only 2 will be there in the exam. And another part is speaking skill test. It has 10 marks. I will upload another video for speaking skill test also. In this activity workbook, oral test paper is also given along with various activities on prose, poetry, writing skill, and novel with model answers. This is activity workbook for standard 11. It also contains oral test paper along with various activities on prose, poetry, writing skill, and drama. It is also one of the best practice book for the students. Thanks for watching this video. Best luck for your board exam. Thank you.